Well, welcome to this makeshift episode 82 of the Daily BLP. I'm your host, Brian Collins, here alone today in a brand new location. Just looks like a big room, and that door opened up again. I'm going to go shut it. Anyway, it just looks like a big new room, but I assure you soon it will look a little bit more like home. We've moved into a new office. I was talking about this a little bit leading up over the last month or so. Actually, over the past couple months, as we've been kind of waiting for things to get ready from our former location for the folks who used to be in this office. So they're now there. We're now here, and things are coming together quite nicely. If you've ever been through a house move, you know what it's like. Very similar on a business move. A lot of coordination, a lot of packing things up, a lot of question marks, hoping things will go well. Not knowing exactly, if things are going to be ready for you when you get to your new spot, or if you've got everything ready and out of your old spot. So it was a lot of back and forth over the last week or so. I was hoping to get in here and cut a couple shows last week, but that didn't happen because, there was just too much lifting, literally, of stuff and moving it around. So this is going to be the new room. We're going to change the digs a little bit as time wears on here a little bit. My objective today was to get cameras in place, get the counter in place for the podcast. There's a space next to me for guests. I think we'll have our first guest in the new location coming up on Thursday the 13th. So just a couple days from now, that'll be fun. It's actually a guest we've had on in the past, but we're going to talk a different subject this time. So I'm really excited for that. But it's interesting moving in to a new office. It's nerve-wracking. It's not cheap. You got to hire movers if you don't want to do it all yourself, which we did, but we still ended up doing a lot of little stuff ourselves because sometimes if you're not 100% supervising your movers, they forget things or they bring things they're not supposed to. So we had to take some stuff back and bring some more stuff over. In fact, I loaded up my truck this morning to bring more stuff over. So, but we're excited. For the last 2.5 years, we've been in a great location about 10 miles from here, close to a major highway in the area, which is great for our folks to be able to get on the road and get out to clients. Great access for people to us. But the one downfall of our last location is we were just a smaller company in a really big office subleasing, and the rest of it was empty. And, we didn't have control of things like the temperature or the locks on the doors. And the building itself needed a lot of work done to it, and the owners didn't want to do that. They were trying to sell it. They were happy to have us there because we were helping, our lease was helping pay some of their expenses. But they finally ended up selling it to another local company here, great company that's just filled the place up practically. Did a bunch of renovating through the summertime. The whole HVAC system went out. And this wasn't just a little AC unit outside. These are big, giant, 3 big units, combined as big of a house, and those units went down. So started blowing heat in our building, and it was a mess, but they addressed it and got them fixed. And anyway, they're in that space. It's looking beautiful over there. Really happy for those guys. And, they gave us their former corporate office, which is perfect size for us. Not too big, not too small. We've got a little bit of extra room to grow into. Which we are. In fact, I'm looking to hire folks now. In fact, it's hard to find folks. We're hiring folks for some clients. Easy to find those folks, but the folks I'm looking for, not as easy. But that's my problem, not your problem. But no, it's good. My office on the other side of the building looks like a Northwoods, Wisconsin cabin. So that's kind of cool. It's very unique. It's growing on me. I mean, I love the way it looks, but it's still a little bit different. So I've tasked my beautiful wife to decorate that for me, and she's working on that. And another thing that was interesting about moving into a new location, maybe you guys that are watching that have had businesses, or even this happens with families too. You get an exciting new location with all this possibility, and everybody wants to pick their space. Right? Everybody like, I like this space. So I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's an opportunity to get something new. Right. And moving our team in, we've had months we've known about this place for months. We've had the floor layout for months. I chose my spot right away, and there was no negotiating. It was just, that's the spot I wanted, and that's the one I was going to do. And I didn't, there was no arguing about it. But everybody else kind of like, well, I don't know, I kind of want this, or I kind of want to be over here. I kind of want that, or I kind of want this. And so my business partners, Manny and Joe, they had a space in mind originally. And then Manny changed his mind. He wanted a different space. So Joe moved his space to be closer to Manny. I tried to be as far away from both of them as possible. And so that dictated where like our office manager, Jamie, went and where our technicians were going to go. Originally, it was going to be really nice. I was going to be in the one office, and then Manny was going to be in the next office from me, which was the former the CEO who was sitting here. That was his office. And then the corner office was going to be Joe and our technicians who he manages for operations for our IT business. They were going to be, the NOC was going to, our network operations center was going to be right outside of his office, nice open area. And then another room right next to that, a big office, was going to be the lab where we work on stuff. And the office next to that was going to be the office that a couple of our technicians would be in. And then everything would kind of pour out from there for our revenue cycle management manager and our AR person and our PSRs and all this. These guys were going to be kind of flow around to the building, and I was always going to use this space as the podcast space. But then like maybe 3 days before, maybe 5 days before, I don't know, 6 or 7, I don't know. My son will appreciate that. Manny decided, well, I don't know if that's a good spot for me. We should all be facing a different direction. So he's got some astrological beliefs that him and his family believe in, and that's their thing. And it's kind of like a feng shui kind of thing. They think you need to be a certain direction, or with the sun and the numbers and the letters and the whatever. And to be, he's like, well, we got to set this up right. We got to have the right stars and the right numbers and the right directions if we're going to be successful in this new office. I'm like, listen, I said, the company that vacated this office, that bought our building, the leaders of that company sat where we were originally planning to sit. And that company's doing a little bit better than we are. I think that I don't think it matters. He's like, well, you got a point, but still. Anyway, all the way leading up, it was a lot of flip-flop. And I want to be here, and I want to be there, and I want to be here, and I want to be there, and I want to be here. And I was just like, so every time they wanted to be in a new spot, we had to shift everybody into new spots. And that was challenging. But we eventually thought we had it. We started moving in on Friday, not last week, Friday, the Friday before. And my business partner, Manny and Joe, they weren't in that day. They were working, I think, from home. We could start moving stuff in before the movers the following Wednesday. So we wanted to get whatever we could here at the office and set up, because we had to get the internet on 2 Fridays ago. We had to get a couple of our people working because they had to be online. And so we got all that figured out and fixed up. And then the following Monday and over the weekend, Manny came in with his wife, Ekta, and they did some stuff in the office and brought some of his stuff in to get ready for Monday morning. Come Monday morning, we thought Manny was going to be in this corner right on the other side of this wall, where he decided to be close to me again, which is fine with me, but it threw everything off again. So Jamie's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And anyway, we figured it out. But it was just drama, which I cannot stand, but we got through it. Not the end of the world, but even now, I think there's going to be some moving around of some spaces, and people in general, once someone plops their booty down in a position at work or at home, they tend to get used to it really quick, and they don't like to be moved around a lot. It's just, I get it. It's just sense of, where am I going to be? Am I going to be is the wind going to blow a different direction tomorrow and we're going to have to move a spot? So we want to avoid that as much as possible, as soon as possible, get people where they're going to be. There should be, especially when you got teams of people working, like right now, I don't have anybody on my sales or marketing team here in the US. I got 5 people on my marketing team over in India. So I don't have to worry about where they sit. They're good to go. But I'm hiring for BDRs, 1, possibly up to 3 after we get 1 in place. And I've got a space. It's full of junk right now from other office, but there's a nice office with desks built around each wall. We can hold 3 to 4 people in there easily. So that's what we'll do. And they're close to me. They're like 5 steps from my office, which is perfect. Close enough. If I need to go see them, I can. Far enough. I don't have to hear them. They don't have to hear me at all hours of the day. So, but right now we're kind of spread out in weird places, and hopefully that gets in line soonish, to where, everybody kind of feels like they fit where they need to fit. So either way, everybody's working hard. It's all working out fine. They're doing good. I just want to, as much as I want people to be happy and comfortable with where they are when they're working at the office, it's also got to make sense in the grand scheme of how the office is laid out so that the business runs optimally. So, so that's moving. Now it's a case of we got to get this place Panacized, I like to call it, because it's still got the logos and the signage and the colors of the folks who were here before. So there's lots of blues and grays, and those aren't our colors. If you've noticed, if you've seen the podcast colors, it goes in line with our company colors. We've got like a dark purple, kind of like a cyan blue, and like a fuchsia pinkish kind of thing that blend together in different ways. And we'll figure that out. But we've got a big old sign so we're right on a different highway, still a nice major highway that gets connected to a lot of different communities we serve. And this sign is awesome. It's probably about 18, 20 feet high. The sign is a pylon sign. So it's, it's like on a big pole at the top. It's big, great visibility from both sides of the highway. It's probably 10, 12 feet wide by 5, 6 feet high. So I've got to put together a design to get our brand on there. It's tricky with our company because we're juggling our company name, but multiple brands that we want to have front and center. The company name itself is great, but it's not necessarily the most important thing that we put out in front of our clients, because the overall company isn't the one that's in front of the clients. It's our company brands like our Panatech IT brand or our Panahealth healthcare services brand. Panacea Smart Solutions, great company name, but it's really overarching. It's kind of that name behind the names that we're really trying to push. Because Panacea Smart Solutions is very general and broad, and it doesn't stick to any one particular thing really well. So that's why we came up with those other brand names. So I've got to come up with a layout that makes sense, that makes everybody happy here internally, but also that creates some excitement and some curiosity for people going down the road about what's in this building now. So that's pretty cool. We got there's this big sign as you walk in. We got a nice reception area now, and there's a big sign, and the former company's name is spelled out on the wall. It's huge, and there's these giant adhesive letters. I tried warming them up with like an air dryer to get some of that adhesive tape and glue to soften up. That stuff's on there tight. It is not coming loose that way. What makes it worse is that wall is kind of wallpapered. So that's kind of a pain. Wallpaper is just never a good idea. So I haven't quite figured out how we're going to get that stuff down. Maybe we'll be able to use like a big putty knife or scraper of some sort, but those letters are so big, to get up underneath that stuff. I mean, they're like, the small ones are this big and the big ones are this big. So that stuff is on there tight. I can't get goo gone underneath because it's flush with the wall. So if anybody's got any ideas, comment and let me know, because I'm at a loss right now. I thought I could do it the way I thought, but it was not happening. I don't want to rip holes in the wall and rip wallpaper. We're not going to put that kind of signage up. We're going to put a couple big, I think 75-inch displays there to put some active content for the company and the brand. But so it's all pretty much going to be covered up, but I still don't want to cause damage to the wall that we don't have to. But yeah, that's it. That's what we're going through right now. We got to get new name tags for outside of the offices. It's funny. There's plates for the slide-in names. Some people took their plates. Some people didn't. They didn't just slide their thing out. They took their plate too, which makes no sense to me. But, I don't know the inner workings of people's, thoughts and goals and what they're doing with things. Maybe they needed those for their offices over there. They were told to bring them. I don't know. But now there's kind of rip marks. Not that it's that exciting. This is what we got to do. I probably pulled 30 nails out of the wall today because they had so many pictures up. This company had a lot of different facilities across the Midwest. They had pictures up of all their facilities. So I had to pull all these nails out. Now there's big holes and I got to fill those. And we found some paint that matches the wall. So that's good. So we won't necessarily have to repaint the whole walls if we don't want to, but we have the paint code number thing. So if we want to get some, we could, because the walls are kind of dirty and kind of scuffed up in a lot of spots. Not terrible, but when you're in a new place, you want things to be new and fresh and look nice. We want to get this place, my hope is to get this place within a month or two up to a condition where we can invite people to have like a grand opening and come through and see what we're all about. Because this is the first time since we opened business in 2016 that we've had our own space. I mean, technically downstairs, there's 2 levels to this building. We're on the main floor. There's a basement floor. There's like a walkout door in the back. And the company that owns it, they still have some folks down there. I don't know if those folks are staying. I think they're going to be going too once the other place is ready. So that'll eventually be empty, hopefully. Because as we grow, hopefully we'll have a room to grow in. But right now, we just got the whole first floor. But it feels like we're the only ones here. Up to this point, we started out of our homes back in 2016. So I was up in Manitowoc, and my business partner, Manny, and my other business partner, Joe at the time wasn't even working for us yet. Manny couldn't even really do any work for the company because his immigration status said he was just on a tourist visa. So he was actually staying at Joe's house way over in another town called Johnson's Creek. So that was the first year. We got our first couple clients that year, starting to get a little money coming in. And we got our first office in a city kind of smack dab in the middle of where we are. Because I was over by Lake Michigan. They were almost by the state capitol, close to Madison. They're like 20 minutes from Madison. So we chose Fond du Lac, which is this funky name city on a lake in the middle of, not in the middle of Wisconsin, but kind of in the middle of Wisconsin. But just because it took us about the same amount of time to get to the office there, we were in a renovated church that had a couple other nonprofits downstairs. We had the whole upstairs. We didn't need the whole upstairs, but it was kind of up there in a way that you couldn't really make it smaller. So we were there for, probably 2 years. We had a couple employees there, a couple callers, on and off. We had a technician for a while, but we were there for about 2 years. And then we decided that, I was coming to the office most of the time, and Manny was less, especially when he was back home in India. And Joe never came in because he wasn't even working for us yet. He was working for an IT competitor, and he was just kind of helping us set things up technically and helping on the weekends when we needed things or after hours when we might need some help. And then late 2019, we moved to my city in Manitowoc, and we were in an big old school building. It used to be a vocational school, like from the Great Depression. And it had been bought and sold a few times and turned into different spaces. Each classroom could have a different business in it. So we leased one of the big classrooms, and I studded out walls and turned it into a multi-room office. And then we were there until 2022. And then we moved to Sheboygan, where we had our last office, and we were there for 2.5 years. And then we just moved here. So we've had a few different locations, but this is the first time it's felt like we've got a space that really works for who we are and what we're trying to do. So that's exciting. I think everybody is like pretty pumped. I have to drive a little bit further. Jamie has to drive a little bit further. Most people, it's a little bit closer for them, but we're excited. I think it's a good there's some good work and mental energy going in. We got some work to do. It's going to cost a little bit of money to turn it into our place. But once we do, or it's going to be the type of place where we can do what we've always really wanted to do. We did a little bit in our last space, right in the middle of the time of being there. We had it really nice and no one else was in there. And we had a nice conference space, a nice lobby space. When we were at our peak about a year and a half ago, where we had the most people kind of coming to work for us from here locally, we had a big Christmas party. We had the place decorated. We had a huge tree and catered in food. And we had this huge lobby space that we filled with tables and families were there. We're going to get back to that. But I think it'll be a little bit different, a little bit nicer here. We've got not as big of a conference space, but a lot nicer of a conference space, a lot more professional. So that'll be nice in our process of what we like to invite clients into our office to show them that we're the real deal and just roll out the red carpet for them and present our services to them when it makes sense. Most of our clients are way too far away to make a trip here for a 2-hour meeting. But the more we grow and grow our market size here locally, we'll bring people in, and that's really nice, to be able to see a nice, organized, put together, space. So we're super excited about that. But that's enough about our office. As you can tell, I'm just going to brag about it as much as I can. So I'll give updates as we go, and you'll see this space kind of change a little bit. Trying to figure right now it's like a light baby blue. The walls, that's not going to stay. We can't be having that. But we'll see what happens there. Again, if you got suggestions, let me know. Let me know what you want to see. What else is going on? Big Packer game tonight. I found out, I got a call from my business partner, Manny. I wonder if he's tried to call me. Him and a client of ours are going to the Packer game tonight. Packers Eagles, Monday Night Football. I don't think he's ever been to a Packer game. I don't think so. I think he's been to Lambeau. He went and saw a few years back. He saw Paul McCartney play live at Lambeau. So he said that was cool and fun and exciting, but he didn't know any of his music. So it was kind of, for him, it was kind of mad, but it was neat to see. He's a huge cricket fan, and those cricket stadiums are giant, and they play for like a week at a time. I think you just go and you just stay. But I don't think he's ever been to a football game. He got to go to a Brewer game this past year. I think he liked that. This is going to blow his mind because they might even, what time is it now? It's almost 4:30. They might even already be there by now tailgating. So if he hasn't called me now, he's probably not going to. He might already be fully inebriated. So everybody pray for him. Make sure he gets home with our client safely. But in all seriousness, they'll have a good time. And Packer games are a lot of fun. Last one I went to was actually a Packers Cowboys game with my wife, and we had a great time. So big game tonight. Let's see. Pack is 5-2-1. Eagles are 6-2. That's pretty. You don't get much closer than that without the tie. I think it's going to be a heck of a game. So if you're not doing anything tonight, turn on Monday Night Football on ABC, ESPN. I think that's where you watch those games and enjoy a good game of football. Otherwise, I guess I'll just wrap things up. It's kind of weird. Things change. You move to new locations. You do things differently, and you just kind of roll with it. So all that being said, we talked about that today. My staff has been great. My business partners, though, I joke a lot with and about them. They've been great too. They worked really hard to kind of get everything in place, and moving isn't easy. So that's I'm really, really thankful and happy to have those guys with us. What else? Last thing, just want to, I don't know if anybody watching is kind of local to my area, but just a shout out to one of our local high schools where my son goes to school. Manitowoc Lutheran High School had a big weekend when it comes to sports. Their girls volleyball team won Wisconsin State Championship for the second year in a row. Last year they won Division IV. Didn't get to see any of that because we just didn't have any kids in the school yet. We didn't know much about getting involved. Now that we've got a son in school, who are kind of a little bit more aware and excited to kind of get on board with supporting the team and the school. And this year they went up a division because the enrollment went slightly up, and they popped into a bigger division. And Friday they had a semifinal game. We went to that game with our whole family. It was amazing to watch, and a big arena in Green Bay. And the girls just they came to play. They played tough sets. They won in 3 sets straight, but they beat last year's Division III state champions. But those gals, it was like knockdown, drag out. Each set was close. Anybody could have taken those, but our girls came out on top. And then Saturday, they played the final, and they won in 4 sets. And we didn't go to that game. We had too much going on as a family to make it up to Green Bay. But we watched it on TV, and we were just cheering like crazy people. Like you would think that it was our alma mater or something. It was just really, really cool, really exciting. My daughter, who plays volleyball and basketball, she's 12. She's just really taken a liking to those sports, and just to see her kind of just zone out, like mouth open, just watching the game, telling everybody else to shut, she's trying to tell us to shut up and everybody get out from she was so zoned in on it. It was really cool. It's really exciting to see her get excited about sports in that way, because she's going to be good. If she sticks with things, she's going to be really good. And then the night before, Friday night, the boys football team, who went 9-0 in the regular season at that time, were 12-0. Were 10-11. No, they were 11-0. They became 12-0 in their sectional game that they won. Now they're going to a semifinal game in a neutral spot this Friday against another undefeated team in their division. It's the first time this team's ever been that far. I can't say enough about watching these boys this year. I've never seen any Manitowoc Lutheran High School football before this. They've got an intensity. They play smart football. They've got a lot of boys playing. They're not the biggest physically, but they fly over the field, but they're smart. They're not out of control. They're very well disciplined. Couple silly penalties this last game, which I don't even know that they deserve to get, but hey, I could be a little biased, but I will say that from what I've seen so far this year, they're a very disciplined team, which goes a long way in high school football. They're opportunistic. They're in the right place at the right time, which says a lot about what they've learned from their coaches and their game plans to put those boys in the right play, to put their athletic abilities on display to make good plays. And so far, they've done that. It hasn't been luck. I haven't seen a lot of luck. I've seen a lot of skillful football, which is really cool to see. I love the way they play. They're hard-nosed when they need to be. They're finesse when they need to be. It's interesting because every game that I've been to, not all of them, the home games that I could make, I don't know that they've been a physically bigger team than anybody they've played. I think most of the teams they've played have had bigger boys on the team. But I tell you what, especially on defense, I don't know if it's just because they're lower to the ground or they're faster, they're smart about the way they play. They make big plays and they constantly stop bigger dudes than them, at the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be exciting to see. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it to the game out in Waukesha or not. It's about an hour and a half from where we live. Got to move a lot of pieces to make that work. And it's hard on the family, to do that kind of stuff. But, if it's on TV, we're definitely going to watch. So, but if they win that, they go and play in Madison the following Thursday during the day. So they'll probably get another day off of school. So anyway, that's been episode 82 of the Daily BLP. Thanks so much, you guys, for tuning in. I will see everybody